November 19th, 1978, the Meadowlands. Philadelphia Eagles quarterback Ron Jaworski had just thrown his third interception of the game. The Giants took over with a 17-12 lead, and less than 2 minutes remaining.
I had thrown the interception. I'm down at the end of the bench. Kind of got my head down, just kind of collecting my thoughts.
We intercepted the ball from Jaworski and ran out in the field. I wanted to fall on the ball 3 times and it's like, go home. Let's have a cold one. It's Miller time.
On first down, Giants quarterback Joe Pisarcik, with no direction from the sideline, knelt down 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage. But the Eagles and linebacker Frank LeMaster were blitzing anyway.
Frank LeMaster played till the whistle. Frank came in, took a shot. You know, the Giants guys got all ticked off and they're, hey, you know, they got all fired up.
There's a little pushing and shoving in the backfield.
Some of the players, hey, let's run another play so we can get Frank, and, you know, we want to get a shot on Frank.
On second down, Pisarcik got a play call from Giants offensive coordinator Bob Gibson. Pro up 65. An off-tackle run for fullback Larry Zonka.
I'm like, running play, and everybody in the huddle's kind of going, Joe, just fall on the ball. Joe, you know, what are you doing here? Just fall on the ball. The week or two prior to that, he sent in a couple plays and I audibled one. And at that point, I got a little somewhat reprimanded, I will say, for changing that play.
Despite pleas from his teammates to change the play, Pisarcik gave the ball to Zonka, who gained 11 yards. On third down, with 31 seconds on the clock and the credits rolling on CBS's telecast, the Giants ran the same play again from their own 29-yard line.
The snap came up a little bit off to the right. The ball hit on my forearm area.
When the ball was hiked, I saw it being bobbled from Joe right away.
So in trying to turning, handing off to Larry, the ball ends up, he's there a little bit quick. Then the fumble hit the ball right on his hip a little bit, from what I remember.
And Pisarcik fumbles the football.
I jumped to try to fall on the ball, and it jumped between my 2 hands.
I can remember picking up the ball, and when I started running, it just felt like everything was in slow motion.
It's picked up by Herman Edwards.
He's running toward their goal line. And I'm thinking to myself, holy, what's going on here?
It took a good bounce. I was fortunate enough to scoop it and score. And obviously after all that, Giant Stadium got real quiet.
Touchdown Eagles!
All the blood rushed out of my head and like, oh my God, this has actually just happened.
And that was when I started saying, I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I do not believe what has occurred here, ladies and gentlemen.
For the most part, I really couldn't move. I was just numb. And I sat on the bench for about 10, 15 minutes. This was probably the worst I ever felt being a football player.
I hear it almost every week of my life. And they say, oh, you're the guy, oh, you were involved with that play. You were the guy who fumbled the ball. I'm ready to take any responsibility that goes with it. But the play should never have been called, obviously.
Bob Gibson really became the fall guy and the scapegoat because somebody's head had to roll immediately. And his was the most immediate head available to roll down the hill and take the blame.
The Giants fired Gibson after the game. He never called another NFL play. Gibson, reached at his home in Florida, said, I haven't talked about it in 30 years, and I am not going to start now.
Football in general learned a very valuable lesson. Don't try to get extra yards. Don't try to be fancy about anything. Just kill it, take a knee, and just call it a day.
Almost immediately, winning teams changed the way they handled the ball at the end of close games. The so-called miracle at the Meadowlands was the origin of today's victory formation, a protective kneel-down play by the quarterback designed to run out the clock.
The next week, somebody did it in the NFL. I know they did. I remember them showing it. I go, well, I invented a formation.
That was sort of the last straw because we actually invented a way to lose the game that no one else had ever done.